All right, well, welcome back here to the Profit Pricer. Now you're ready to jump in with your business coach, and if you want to get this done ahead of time before you send it to him, that'd be awesome too. So what you want to do here is identify your department. So let's say you have a plumbing service department. You'll want to put in your number of technicians. Let's say you have, I'll just put in 5 for right now, and you have a plumbing installation department, install department. You may have an HVAC service, and you may have HVAC install. All right, and you may have more. You may have a commercial department down here. Well, what I'm trying to get to here is I'm going to just populate these with technicians, possible technicians that we have. Okay, and here's a best practice. What you want to do is come up here. Oh, you'll want to unprotect this in the beginning just for this one piece. You'll come up here to review and hit unprotect. And then when you do that, come up here and edit this comment. What I want you to actually do is I just want you to delete this comment. Okay, and then go ahead and put a new comment in, insert a comment. What a best practice that we need to be focused on here is entering in your technicians. So if I've got Jim, Paul, Ringo, Charlie, and Joe. Okay, so there's my technicians. Now over here on my installers, what I want to do is also insert another comment, and I want to put in Steve as my lead. So what you may do is just come up here and put in your leads up top. Leads, so that's Steve, and then helpers below it. I'm going to put in helper of Max. All right? So what that's going to do is what we're putting in here is just our leads, because our helpers are just that. They're helpers. We're not asking our helpers to cover any overhead burden. We want our leads to recover the overhead burden. All right. And the service techs, just go ahead and do the same with those, and the same with your leads down here. Your leads and your installers, helpers down here. All right. So that's how you enter in this information. Now here's another piece here too. You're going to want to turn this to day, because all install jobs are priced by the day, not by the hour. And service is priced by the hour. And there's good reasons for that, because of efficiency and the ease of tracking it, okay? And the ease of pricing jobs out as well. All right, so that's the production tab. So MP0 is our production tab, and I'm actually just going to change that to production. You want to know how you did that? How I did that, I just right-clicked it and renamed it. So I renamed that tab. That's my production. These are my production crews. Okay, so then I'm going to come over here to MP1 tab, and I'm going to put in the hourly rate, and you get a place here for your chart of accounts. I'm going to put in the hourly rate for my plumbers. I'm going to put in the hourly rate for my lead installer. Okay, oops. Don't mean to give them a cut like that. And if you have a 1-to-1 ratio of leads and helpers, then you put your helper cost right in here. So if you're paying a helper $15, that's where it would go. So that crew is costing you $40. Now, if you don't have a 1-to-1 ratio of leads and helpers, what needs to happen is we come over here and we put the helpers into overhead, so that we're covering that. Let's say you have 3 leads and only 2 helpers. Then you don't have 1-to-1 ratio, so I just want to capture those 2 helpers cost over here, and it'll be put into this overhead section. Now don't get wrapped around the axle here. The helper is a direct cost when you're putting it in your P&L. However, to recover all of their costs and to even it out between all the crews, we put it into overhead, and then we'll allocate that cost just to that department. Okay, so that department is covering that helper cost. And we'll get into that more as we go down the road here. All right, So if you have a 1-to-1 ratio, this is where you would put it. Also, if you're union, go ahead and put in your union package in here, union dues, things. Now what this has done right here is it showed us that we have, you can see these pre-populated. That's coming from this company setup tab that you were going to put in here. Now I didn't put in a workman's comp rate, I just put in $8. I think this is actually a 0 off. Okay, and we'll come back over here and you'll see that these are already pre-populating now. Okay, now this is a per hour fee, and this is actually populating, it's just pennies for the hour, it's just not showing up here. And then here's a $370 cost per day, and that's a fully burdened cost. Okay, when I say fully burdened, tax-wise and your workers' comp-wise, but it doesn't have the medical insurance in it. So anyways, we have this plugged in here, and then you'll go to MP2. MP2 is where you're going to identify how many days you're paying for vacation. So let's just say you're paying 8 or 10 vacation days, and that's across the board. I didn't fill out the HVC on the other part there, did I? But that's all right, I'll go back and do it. And I got 8 holidays. And I pay for 2 sick days, let's say. And I'm bouncing all over the place here, aren't I? All right, back here to 8. Kind of do it on purpose, show you that you really can't mess this thing up. So basically, we started off with 260 days. Now we took off 20, so we've only got 240 days. Now down here, and these are the paid days. Down here are the days that you give off, you allow off, but you don't pay them for. And we've all had people call in sick. So let's just say they call in on average 3 a year. Okay. Gave them 2, so we called in 5 days overall. And these 3 I'm not paying for. But you got to understand, you've lost that production. And that's why you have to account for how much production loss have you had when a guy calls in sick. Okay. Because now you have less days or hours to divide into all of your costs. All right? And now that's going to then show you what does that cost you, those vacation days cost you an hour, and what does that vacation day cost you for a day. Now, I came back over here and filled this out like I should have. You'll see that it's covering the cost of those as well now. Okay? All right, so I'm going to leave you at that one for, that's your initial setup you'll do with your coach, and the next video will show you what you do after that. So this, just to recap, we're going to be inputting our production in here, and you're going to list your name of folks, and there's a reason for that, and we'll get into that later on in the video, in the next videos. You're going to put in the cost, what it costs you, the hourly rate that it's costing you. You're going to identify your vacation days, holidays, days that you pay, your benefit days, and then days that your people are taking off that you're actually not paying for. So you have to identify what that is in your business, and then it brings us to what is that actually costing you per hour. Okay? So at that, I'll cut this one and I'll move on to video number 3.